Why, hello, and welcome to the PHP. I'm Booker. That is my friend that looks like Freddie Mercury. My friend that looks like Freddie Mercury. I stumbled my line. Shit. Perez Hilton, how are you? You're very Freddie Mercury today.
I take that as a compliment. Freddie Mercury.
I love Freddie Mercury.
Is iconic. It's tank top weather. So I am just happy. I'm healthy. And we have a great show for you guys. Fasten your seatbelts, though, because some of it will be difficult. Like when we talk about the Johnny Depp and Amber Hurd trial that is sucking up a lot of the oxygen in the room. But then we have lighter things to discuss, like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry and the British royal family. We're also going to get to a lot of disappointing Harry Styles news.
Oh, I just watched that. Yeah.
No, not that. But I mean, we were talking about that and something else that just broke.
Really? Oh, even breaking news. Good.
Yeah,
Cool.
breaking news. I'll get to that. We're also going to talk Lizzo, Ezra Miller, Doja Cat, and at the very end of today's show, the normal length that we always do, there will be an interview with Real Housewives of New York icon Countess Luann. So stay tuned for that. But shamelessly and briefly, it's April, and I'm going to give my PHP listeners almost half off my CBD, okay? All you have to do, if you're a first-time customer, is enter promo code 420 and save 42% off mytrue10.com. That's it. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Did you celebrate Easter?
I did. I had two Easter things. One at my girlfriend's sister's. Then her mother came over to the house, and I cooked dinner for everyone for that. So that was fun. I spun a couple of chickens. It was a nice Easter.
What did you do with the chickens?
I spun a couple of them. I have a rotisserie on my grill. Yeah. So I'm not very good at cutting up the birds. I got to get better at that. But yeah, it was nice. It was a nice Easter. I had a very busy weekend. I had a wedding on Saturday, and I broadcast from a casino outside of Coachella on Friday. So I had quite the busy weekend.
Oh, wow.
This week has just been nice. Just kind of can't wait for the weekend.
I had a good weekend as well. I took my kids down to Olvera Street, which is one of the hidden gems of Los Angeles. If you've never been there, you need to go. It's kind of like one of the first spots of the founding of LA, and it looks like you're in Mexico. It's beautiful. And then
it is beautiful.
Sunday, I went to my sister's house for Easter, and my son and I watched 2 horror films also. It's our new Easter tradition. It just started.
Horror films. I like it.
We saw the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th, and then we watched Annabelle Creation. So whatevs. All right, let's get right to it because we have a lot of show. All right, I guess let's start with the breaking Harry Styles news, and we'll work our way backwards. I had 2 text messages this morning from separate people that unfortunately Harry Styles' new album that was supposed to come out on May the 20th just leaked 4 weeks early.
Ouch.
I don't know if in this day and age where people don't have to purchase music anymore and they can just stream an album, if it will impact things that much. But on the other hand, a 4-week leak is very early. So I wonder if they will release it sooner than it was supposed to. Probably not, because Harry's such a global superstar that they probably had tons of press and big TV opportunities lined up for release week. Mm-hmm. And what's fascinating is I'm going to read verbatim. I had 2 very contrasting takes on the music. One person that I know said, "It's terrible. I don't get it." And then the other person that texted me that I know said, "I like a few tracks for sure, and I'm not a huge fan." So I would say that that's a mixed response to the new music. He debuted 2 new songs at Coachella, and we'll talk about that. So I guess let's just move on to Coachella right now.
Mm-hmm.
Booker was I know Booker so well. I guarantee you. I didn't mention it at the time, but you had a few drinks in you when you were texting me, didn't you?
100% on a Saturday night at midnight. I've had more than a few in me. Or Friday, whatever night it was.
He was texting me about not just Harry Styles, but the whole Coachella live stream. And these hosts have no idea what they're talking about. These hosts,
they were
hosts
awful.
Suck.
Unwatchable, just horrible. Like, do they get people that know anything at all about music? And these people just talk about themselves. It's like, no one cares. No one knows who you are. Shut up and like do some homework. They're just terrible.
If by any chance that main woman is watching us or listening right now, I thought she did a great job. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't watch.
I did watch. She read off the prompter well. She was giving high energy.
There's no prompter at Coachella. She wasn't on a prompter. She was just talking.
There were
yammering on.
There were points she did have to do some reading. I guarantee you there was a prompter. Anyways, enough about that. Let's talk about Harry. He was the Friday night headliner, and I will let Booker speak for himself, but I think you were disappointed.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, he opened with his new song, which I love that song. I can't get enough of that song. I think it's so good.
As it was. Great song.
He rushed through it a little bit, and maybe that's just a little bit of nerves.
Well, that's your perception. You thought he was nervous.
Well, I just said maybe it was his nerves. Maybe he hadn't performed it live. He hasn't gotten it down yet. But it wasn't bad. It was just a little rushed. And then I think I'm going to borrow from you when you said he just doesn't have the songs. He just doesn't have hits. And so once you hear the new song, you're essentially waiting for Watermelon Sugar and Adore You. So you have to sit through about an hour and a half of non-hits and a weird appearance from Shania Twain, which I don't know. I love Shania. We've talked about Shania. We've met Shania together. I think she's a fantastic artist. The whole performance was just odd to me. It was off. And
well, when you put it that way, it was a little weird because I don't know. Like he said that he grew up listening to her in the car with his mom.
Right.
And then flash forward to 2022 and there's like weird sexual tension or like on her part.
Yeah.
But that might have been a Madonna Drake moment when Madonna made out with Drake at Coachella just to try to get attention. And there probably was no sexual anything. It was just performance, you know? Yeah. Okay. I enjoy Harry Styles. I've also been following his career since the very beginning, since One Direction, because I used to be obsessed, not with One Direction. One Direction had a lot of mediocre music. I used to be obsessed with X Factor UK, and I watched that show obsessively. And I love seeing how much he has improved and grown as a performer. Having said that, it's the concept of pretty privilege. You know, he gets away with so much.
I like that.
He gets away with so much because he's so pretty.
He is. He's a beautiful looking man.
Yeah. He is a good performer. He was giving me confidence and he was having fun, but he's not a great performer. He's not one of the best that's ever done it. And he's not also one of the best vocalists either. He was confident and fun and engaging with the audience, but it wasn't anything that blew my mind. And I enjoyed the Shania moment. And I don't even mind that he doesn't have the hits yet, but even given the catalog of songs that he has, he could have, he didn't do that gorgeous piano ballad that was a single, Golden. Like that should have been a song instead of doing 2 new songs that people had never heard before. That was a little self-indulgent. All right, do 1 brand new song that people have never heard before. But 2 felt a bit much. I also think...
Listen, look, no one's watched this but you and me. So
all right, okay, I'll keep it moving. I also, briefly though, I also think he needed production. he didn't really have any production and he needed production. So that was disappointing. I would still go see him in concert just because I think it'd be fun once, but he needs more hits and he needs more production.
I've seen worse. I've seen better. That is my summary, especially for the main stage. I saw Drake go up there and lay an absolute egg, and Drake has more hits than anyone I could think of. I've seen smaller artists like Ellie Goulding go up there and just blow the fucking doors off, and you're like, how did that happen? Or bands like Weezer blow the doors off, and you're like, I didn't see that one coming, and I like Weezer. So
I love Ellie Goulding. She's great live.
But she stood there on the main stage and made it happen. I've seen better and I've seen worse. So that's my review.
Did you watch any of the other performances over the weekend?
I didn't because I was so busy. So I really only put that feed on Friday night and, watched them bounce around a little bit. I saw some highlights like a Billie Eilish, but I didn't watch anything live.
Billie was good, but you want to know something? I watched a lot of it. There was one person that blew me away, and I'll get to that person in a second, but I really also loved Karol G, the Colombian singer, and especially when she did this medley of Latino musicians, and when she sang Selena, I started crying. It was beautiful. But, oh my God, Doja Cat gave a career-defining performance. It was spectacular. She was the headliner. She gave us pop and she gave a fucking rock show. She was like a rock star. And
I wish I would have watched that. I've never seen her be great anywhere. So I'll try to go back and watch more clips of that.
More than great. I would dare say it was like Beyonce level. Like,
no, Beyonce level. That was the greatest performance of live anything that maybe I've ever seen in my life.
It was up there. It was not as good as Beyonce, but
no.
You have to watch it. Like, even the stage was epic and ginormous. The production, the arrangement, everything.
Well, come on, no one listening watched Coachella.
Well,
Zero
a lot of people went.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
This isn't a Southern California show. We're doing a global show here.
All right. Well, we'll keep it moving. On to some just depressing news. Johnny Depp and Amber Hurd are in court. I think it's in Virginia for some reason. I don't even remember why they filed the lawsuit there. But for the first time, because they've sued each other in the past, or they've been involved in lawsuits about their relationship in the past. Johnny previously sued a newspaper in the UK. Now he's directly suing Amber Hurd for defamation, for libel, because he claims that the things that she said about him in the past are not true. And there is one camera or more in the courtroom, and we're seeing this, and it's just, there are some things in life that are so toxic that they permeate toxicity. And if you get near it, it rubs off on you. And that's how I feel about this case. I feel very differently than like the Jussie Smollett situation, where I was watching that most recent trial and I was riveted, because at the end of the day, nobody was seriously hurt. But in this situation, both Johnny Depp and Amber Hurd have accused each other of domestic violence. And it's just so gross, because I don't think we're going to get an answer, right?
Yeah, like, we're not. Watching this, and I can summarize, we're going long here on this too. I could tell. You can't tell who's lying and who's I know, but you're unwinding. I can see the long pitch coming. These two, like you said, I don't believe either one of them. I believe he was out of his mind when some of the things were going on. And I believe that she has amped up her stories to a level to being completely unbelievable. And I can't even watch, because I'm just like, these are just two people fighting over money at this point. And I'm bored.
Well, I don't even think
just bored.
Well, maybe it's over money, but I don't necessarily think it's over money. I think that Johnny Depp has, even though he wasted so much money and he got into a lot of financial issues in the past, he still has so much money, enough to burn and waste for years, to hurt her, because he's still hurt by what she did to him and what happened as a result of her saying those things. His career is not what it used to be. And his career meant so much to him for decades. So this is very personal and it's not rational. You know, he's leading with his heart, not his brain. And what's unfortunate is what I was saying, even if he wins, right? She can appeal it and the process will drag on for another 3 years. Or if she wins, he can appeal it and the process will drag on. And she's got a lot of money to fight this as well. And the only two people who will really know what happened are the two of them. And the only people who really win here are their lawyers. The lawyers are the only winners.
Yeah. I don't feel that anyone is, quote, rooting for either one of these people. I'm rooting for this just to be off of my television every day because it's just a bore.
I would say that I actually have perceived a shift. And now, because of this trial, a lot more public support for Johnny Depp. And more than support, like a campaign to get Amber Heard removed from the DC universe and not to be in any more Aquaman films.
But maybe that's, to your point, why he's doing it. Just because he's like, look, I got to get some of this back. I got to get some goodwill back, and I'm willing to pay for it. But he's had a hell of a run. And most actors can't keep that continuous thing going for, you know, decades as he's done. And he may need a break anyhow. But this is all a waste of time.
Yeah. Although it is interesting, I literally last night, while I was doing something else, tried to watch some of it, and Johnny Depp just rambles. Like he talks and talks and talks.
He still looks like a fucking pirate to me in court. I'm like, the ponytail and all the rings, and it's just very odd.
It was more interesting to me when he and she were not talking and they were just sitting there reacting. And I was looking at their faces. Like, oh my God, did she just smirk? She smirked. Oh my God.
She is so beautiful. What a bombshell.
I mean, she has had domestic violence allegations against her in the past. I need to bring that up as well. Anyways.
Look, like is what I sum it up to. These are two dramatic people that were now suing one another for being two dramatic people. And I hate to say I don't care, but I don't care. I don't believe either one of them. And it's just sort of a waste of courtroom space to me.
No. All right. Over to the UK. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle met with Queen Elizabeth and father-in-law, dad, Prince Charles. They were on their way to the Invictus Games in Europe, which is what Prince Harry puts on. And they had a day and a half together. They went to service in church. They spoke, understandably. And I'm fascinated. I wish I could have been a fly on that wall.
So does all of Great Britain.
I know, just to see how uncomfortable they all were. It's one of those things where you just have to do it, right? Like you're awkward, but you know that by doing this first step, eventually things will get better. And I would hope that this was altruistic and for the right reasons, but part of me also thinks that both sides also did it because they know it's good for business to mend these fences and to be back in each other's lives and friendly and like a family. So good on them. They're trying to make it work. And that's that. Let's move on now to one of our favorite couples, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. They have taken their thirst to the next level.
Yeah.
As if they were D-listers. They continue to behave. They had a wave of publicity for their engagement news, which they poured gasoline on that. And then we did not talk about it because it did not happen. A few days later, The paparazzi were camped outside. I think it was her house or his house, one of their homes, maybe tipped off by them, possibly, wouldn't put it past them. And then Ben rolls up, J-Lo comes out, and they like start making out in front of the paparazzi because they want the attention. God bless them. I love it. You know, I appreciate people that give us things to talk about.
Yeah. I just still don't understand it. I like this latest session that you're speaking of. I wonder if they just don't feel like they're getting enough press or something. Like why this? It just, I saw those pictures as well. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, why? It just, like, I guess, like you said, the thirst is off the scales, and maybe they're trying to amp it up. I'll go back to what I said. I still don't think the level of people caring about it is anywhere near the level of what it was. And I just wonder if they're sort of chasing that a little bit. And it's not happening. And they're trying to do things to make it happen. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I really can't.
Or they just enjoy it. I don't know. But yeah. Good on them. Speaking of people who enjoy it, the Kardashians. And this week, the Johnny Depp and Amber Hurd trial has been going on for several days. Mm-hmm. The Blac, Chyna and Kardashians trial just began. And whether you like it or not, that as well is going to suck up a lot of the oxygen. And the media has already began talking about it. And I will just predict what's going to happen in this case. Blac Chyna is going to lose. I mean, asterisk, maybe not. I would technically really need to look at her contract, but a network can fire you at any time for any reason, even if the show hasn't started, especially if the show hasn't started yet. But even if the show has started,
typically these contracts go for not even seasons. They go week to week. Sometimes literally that's a week. Sometimes they could be 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending on what they'd need you for. So you're right. And I guarantee you, if it was let's call it a 4-week deal, whatever, I guarantee you they paid her those 4 weeks, even though they fired her, because why wouldn't they? It's not enough money where it matters.
Well, and the thing, she was allegedly going to get paid like $90K an episode for many, many episodes.
Get out of here. Who would care?
The thing is like, it's not like she did the work and then didn't get paid. She didn't do the work. So
it's how these TV shows work. And she could have made a potential of $90K is often how these contracts are worded. You look at these television contracts and anything I've done, you're like, wow, this could be a lot of money if I make it to the end. Usually you get fired before the end. And that's really just how cable works.
Yeah. All right. In other Kardashian news, the Kardashians were at Disneyland celebrating one of the endless streams of birthdays. There's so many Kardashian Jenners, like they're always having a birthday. And a lot of people were upset at the next level special treatment that they got. Listen, I understand these people. It's one thing to pay for the special VIP guides that lets you cut in front of the line, but it's another thing what they were doing. They were shutting down entire rides so that they could be the only ones on the rides. Like there was video of the Kardashians on the teacups and nobody else. There were all these empty teacups except for the Kardashians. Like, what's the point? People that were outside were still taking video of you.
Right.
So like you can't share the ride if you have your own teacup. Like,
okay, but how the fuck old are you? You need to be on the teacups. I mean, come
they
on.
were there with kids. They were there with the children.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm just picturing the two of them like sucking face in their own teacup cart, and that's it. So the kids were there too.
Yeah.
So
Pete,
you're right. It makes no sense. None whatsoever.
Pete didn't go, unless I guess maybe they think it's like some security issue or whatever, but they have their security ride with them. So I don't understand it.
I don't know.
That was lame. All right. Over the weekend, Lizzo hosted Saturday Night Live and performed. She also released a new song called About Damn Time, which you've heard. I like the song. However, I don't love the song, and I feel about it the same way that I feel about a lot of Bruno Mars music. It's like a rehash. There's nothing forward about it. Or edgy or cool, or I mean, it's done well. And actually, Lizzo worked with one of Bruno Mars' collaborators on there, so no wonder it sounds like a Bruno Mars.
It's very retro, yeah. I like it. I think it's a hit song, and I think she's going to have a hit out of it. And I was wondering if she would have another hit, but this is the sound that Dua Lipa has ripped off to make En Vogue again, and that's exactly what it is. I think it's going to do well. I like it. I mean, Perez sent it to me. I didn't like the video at all, but I liked the sound of the song, and now I've heard it on the radio quite a few times since, and I think it's a hit. It'll be
interesting to see how it does, though, because, I mean, if it's going to be a hit, it's going to be a hit the old-fashioned way, through radio and muscling it to become a hit, because unfortunately, the streaming numbers are not there.
You could say the same for Dua Lipa. She had the same issue. When those songs came out, it took a minute. So,
okay.
We'll see.
They
built over time and won't go away. As a matter of fact, those songs will just not. Levitating is still like one of the most played songs at radio, and it still streams extremely well as well. So
I was shocked at how poorly it did. The Lizzo song, it debuted at after the first day, it debuted at number 36 on Spotify, and it didn't even make the top 100 on Apple Music. And the music video only got 1 million views the first day.
I think it'll get going. To me, it sounds like a hit song. So we'll see.
All right. Speaking of TV news, this was shocking. Netflix may be over or on the decline. In the first quarter of 2022, they lost 200,000 subscribers, Netflix told shareholders. But here's the real alarming part. In this next quarter, they are projecting internally that they're going to lose 2 million more subscribers.
Maybe a lot of people are just at the end. Like Kel watches every day. She's got some other show on. Her and her sister they're down into the bowels of these different Netflix young lady productions, and they've seen about everything. So maybe they need to amp up production to get some new stuff out. But at the end of it, you're not watching movies. You're kind of watching for series and shows. And once you catch up, you're caught up. Like I'm paying for Apple TV. I have no idea why I'm paying for it. There's nothing I'm watching on it. Since Ted Lasso, I haven't watched a fucking episode of anything. I need to cancel it, but they're getting my $5 a month just because. And I think it's a lot of that as well. Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Wait a minute, I'm running out of money here."
There's too many streamers now. It's wild.
There's shows on everything. I'm watching The Dropout on Hulu still, and I don't think I've ever watched anything on Hulu before, and I'm just bouncing service to service. Better Call Saul is back, so I got to figure out where to watch that now.
Oh, that's exciting. In not exciting news, very unfortunate news, that actor that we spoke about, Ezra Miller, that's been having a lot of legal issues, was arrested a few weeks ago in Hawaii for, I think that was trespassing or some drama. Ezra Miller was just arrested again for, I don't know what the charge is going to be, but allegedly, Ezra Miller threw a chair and it hit a woman in the head, leaving a cut on her forehead. And
damn, sounds like a Shia LaBeouf situation.
Yeah, it seems like a lot is going on right now, and I wonder what the future of the Flash will be. So there's that.
The career could be just a flash, and that's it.
A huge story last week that thankfully was quickly nipped in the bud were all of these rumors of Rihanna and her baby daddy, A$AP Rocky, possibly calling it quits, and him cheating on her with some fashion designer, but that was denied. And I never believed that anyways. And things are all good. In fact, Rihanna is right now on a baby moon with A$AP Rocky in Barbados, having a good time.
I saw some pictures.
Like bumping around town, literally.
She's so fucking cool. I love Rihanna. She's like, just cool.
Like practically naked with just her bump, and that's it. I mean, a little bikini top and looking great.
She's awesome.
Looking great, though. All right, let's take some calls.
All right.
Hey, guys. It's Claire from LA. I just wanted to say I'm happy that you brought back Adam and Eve. It's the best. Oh. And I'm not obviously getting paid to say this, but you guys should check out the strawberry clit gel. I do not have sex without it now. It makes it so much better. It's like a little tingly. I don't know. Okay. Love the show, guys. Bye.
Is it actually called strawberry clit gel?
Probably. You want your lady bits to be tingly when you're having sex?
Right?
Like fiery, like burning, like a tingly, like tingly is not a good phrase.
For a guy, it's not. Maybe it is for a girl. For us, we don't want anything tingling down there at all. Tingling usually means a trip to the doctor. Another call.
Hi, guys. I wanted to comment on Brittany. I'm a little disturbed. I'm a mom. I don't know. I think that she is still a bit unhinged. Getting pregnant at 42, there's so much that can go wrong. I was pregnant in 37, so I understand it. But also, too, the fact that, mental illness obviously runs with her, and she's got 2 great kids. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with it all anyway. But okay, that's just my comment. Bye.
I mean, I'm a firm believer in being pro-choice. It's her body. It's her choice. And thankfully, she and her fiance have been together for much longer than she and her ex-husband, Kevin Federline, ever ended up being.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Brittany, I didn't recall. I thought they had, because I remember the television show, and it seemed like that went on for a few years.
Yeah, but a few years, maybe 3. But Brittany and Sam Asghari have been together 6 years.
Have they really? It's been 6 years. 6
years. And he seems really excited to have a child. And he seems like, I don't know. I don't get bad. I do not get bad vibes from him. So I'm happy for her.
Yeah. I'll echo what you said. This is a woman's issue. I have no say. I'm a guy. I'll sit down all fucking day. I have nothing but best of luck and hope for them having a healthy kid and a good life. I couldn't care less.
Hi, this is Annika from California. Booker, you are completely wrong about the Britney Spears and her assistant situation. It is inappropriate. It is her prerogative, but I would keep it private. And the fact is that if the roles were reversed, that it was a male and a female, people would obviously think that this is a problem. Think about things like Louis C.K., where he was in.
No, she got cut off. Yeah, look, as I said on the show, in theory, I don't think this is a good thing. I mean, I agree with Perez in theory. Should your subordinate be gallivanting around naked with you? No. And if you work at Home Depot. However, I just happen to know that these celebrities, when they have assistants, the NDAs, the contracts, I've seen them. I know what's in them. They're very, very, very thorough. And when it comes to Britney Spears, I'm guessing it's been combed over with the fine-tooth comb multiple times.
But That's one issue. The other issue,
exactly, but it's not taking away.
But
ultimately, at the end of that conversation, I said I actually agree with you. It is kind of,
but
odd.
You don't even need an NDA because Britney posted it publicly.
That's a good point.
So the woman wouldn't be breaking any NDA if she sued in the future over that incident.
Right. But I was just using an example of the contract about disclosure in general. But, somebody brought up online, well, Lady Gaga walks around topless in her things, as did Madonna, and I guess that's the thing. Look, I'm guessing that various stages of nude and nudity is going to be mentioned in that contract. And that's the only thing that I'm bringing up. Is it odd? Yes. It's very odd. Hold on. It's very odd. Absolutely.
She responded to the clip from the podcast, the assistant. I didn't even see what she wrote, but
how did you not see what she wrote? That's news. My God.
Because I didn't really care. I mean, I think she was saying something about like just me and drama or whatever, but I wasn't purposefully trying to create drama here. That was my true legitimate opinion.
Yeah. Your thoughts on it.
Yeah. Like if I was trying to start drama, I might say something like
there's better ways to do it.
Yeah. Like I would probably take the angle of that caller. Like, I can't believe Britney is having another baby right now.
Gotcha. Yeah.
If I wanted to start drama, I would say shit like that, but I'm not.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that. Although if I did believe that, I would probably just say nothing.
Yeah.
I would just say nothing. I would be like, you know what? My opinion doesn't matter here or something like that. But I'm supportive.
Okay.
Hi, guys. Longtime listener. Honestly, been listening since I was in middle school.
Cool. Wow.
Because for some reason, the Perez Hilton podcast or Perez Hilton website wasn't blocked on our library computers.
Nice.
But this call is about Bennifer, Jen and Ben. I've always been a very big true crime junkie, I guess you could say. And for some reason, Ben just very much so gives me Scott Peterson vibes. I don't know, I may be crazy saying it, but he just seems like the kind of guy that will do anything he can to convince the girl that he's with that he's the best of the best. I don't know. And especially with you saying how Jen was so like quiet voiced in the video and all this stuff. Maybe I'm just overlooking it, but like you said, Perez, I love to be a psychologist, even though I probably need therapy the most. But love you guys.
A lot of therapists
do. What you're doing.
I get that, the whole manipulative thing, that I get someone getting that vibe. I understand kind of what she's saying. He is a really smart guy. His intelligence when you're around Ben is daunting. Even he's very, very, very intelligent, almost a photographic memory. So he's I see what she's saying. I don't get creeper killer vibes, but I do get the whole bearing down.
It's interesting that he attracted or was attracted to two such completely different women, Jennifer Lopez and Jennifer Garner. It's like the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
I would much rather be with Jennifer Garner personally. She seems perfect. I just love her. Yeah. She had a birthday recently. She turned 50. Happy birthday, Jennifer Garner. Her friends surprised her with Donny Osmond. Like in person, like what a cool birthday
I saw that present. Video. It's so awesome. I love Jennifer Garner.
Me too.
West Virginia, man. Yes, she's a mountaineer. Love it.
All right.
One more call here. Hold on.
Hi, Perez. Hi, Booker. Longtime listener. I just had to share a core memory of mine from childhood of my older sister convincing me to tell her what my parents got us for Christmas.
And
And it cut off. Come on.
No.
Hold on. Maybe she called back. She couldn't have chickened out. She was doing so well. It happens a lot where people call and they chicken out and they just hang up. Just finish your thought.
No.
Come on.
I was hooked.
Yeah, I was hooked in too. Hold on. Let's see if we have here, because I believe there was another call about that as well.
It's Siri from Northern Virginia. I honestly thought that.
Oh, this was Siri from last week. Siri was very upset that maybe this is the call. Hold on. Remember last week we had the call. She had said that she didn't like the interview at the end of the show.
Yeah, okay.
And we just kind of cut it off and said, well, don't listen to the interview. The show's still the show. And well, I think she called back. I think this is the call. So
okay. It's Siri from Northern Virginia. I honestly thought that the podcast had been cut a little bit short and been replaced with the interviews, but I don't know. I'm kind of like turned off with the fact that you literally you just included that in the podcast. And you didn't include any of the nice things I said, and it's just like I'm like such a loyal listener and love the podcast, and it just made me. I don't know. It just made me not want to listen anymore, because just why did you do that? I don't know.
Let me cut it off again. Let me tell you why I did it. First of all, let me say, we appreciate you more than anybody. You're a fantastic listener. She's been OG riding with us for years. She's got a great personality. I love Siri from Northern Virginia. She's fantastic. However, if I let every fucking person yammer on this thing, the show would be 84 hours long. People take it all the way up to the end of the message at times, and we just like to keep it moving. We like to keep going. So thank you for saying whatever nice things that you said. You're a wonderful listener and seemingly a better person even. So thank you. We love you. However, I can't listen to people yammer on forever. I will put a gun in my mouth and pull the trigger. I just can't do it. Okay. So there you go. Should I listen to the rest of it just in case she says some nice stuff, or do we have it? Did I represent our show okay here? Because I am aware I am a dick sometimes, but in this situation, I wasn't being a dick when I cut off the call.
We appreciate you. Yes, we appreciate you.
All right.
All right. Well, hopefully that one caller about the gifts calls back.
Let me see if I have it. Hold on.
Hey, it's Siri from
No, this is the Siri call. Shit. Hold on. One more. I'll give it one more. And
hi, this is Christina calling from Orange County. I just listened to the Food Baby podcast, and I had a call in because I couldn't believe how naive Booker is at the fact of Britney Spears and her assistant. I can name numerous examples of where things like this were turned around on the celebrity, and she can have an ironclad contract with that woman, but hush money is hush money. People will still try their contracts just to get a payout in hush money. So I'm totally on Perez's side with this, and I don't agree with Booker. Perez, you're 100% correct, and I wish you would heed your warning.
Yes, thank you. I had to get that call in from that lawyer.
All right. Well, now let us move on to the Big Apple, where I sat down with virtually Luanne De Lesseps. She is one of the OGs from the Real Housewives of New York. We talk drama. We dish the dirt on other housewives. And she's a good talker. I really enjoyed our chat. So here is Luanne De Lesseps, Countess Luanne. So let's get right to it. All right. I want to start off with the juiciness. We're going to get to what you're doing. You're rehearsing something, which we'll talk about later. But I just read a headline about a housewife from another city, another state, Teresa, and I can never get her last name right. Some say Giudice, some say Giudice.
Yeah, I think it's Giudice, but that's all right. That's the way I say
it. The article said that she's not sure if she wants to film her upcoming wedding. And she's a reality TV star.
Right.
I think, and this might seem harsh, but I want your opinion. I think if Teresa is not willing to film her wedding, Bravo should fire her. What do you think?
Well, I think that's a little harsh, darling. And I'll give you a great example because I actually got married while we were filming to the
your ex,
famous Tom.
Yeah.
Right. And so I didn't want to have cameras there because I didn't. For me, it was
I forgot about this.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. I had chandeliers hanging from, wires at the Brazilian court. It was
so you
stunning.
Did not film yours.
I did not. But what I did do was I filmed it. I had a professional filmographer, photographer, etc. And I had People Magazine there to shoot shots for them. So I gave them the footage without them being there.
Were they upset about that?
Well, listen, just because you're a reality star doesn't mean you have to hand over your entire life.
Boundaries. Okay. All right.
Exactly. Because listen, getting married is a very personal thing. And I don't think it's for everyone that wants to do it on television. I kind of respect her for that she wants to keep it intimate and beautiful and private. She called me about this actually.
Oh.
And I gave her my advice and I said, you know what? There's a way around it. And I think if you film it and you give over the footage, I'm sure they would be thrilled with that. Because listen, let's talk about the amount of time that we're actually on the show in terms of our storylines. There's a lot of housewives, right? You get your 2 minutes on, the episode, basically. So to tell you the truth, they're going to use not that much of it unless they make it all about her wedding. Now, if they do a special, now that's different. Now we're talking
about make more money. Yeah.
Now we're talking about money. Now we're talking about you call the shots. Now we're talking a whole nother scope. So you see, I just blew up your theory.
All right. So it's strategic. There's probably a lot more going on behind the scenes than we know.
Of course.
And actually, to be fair, for those people that are listening or watching right now, I've actually been to a TV wedding before, and it's very different from a real wedding.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's not just the cameras, but all the crew and the lighting and everything. It's totally a different experience.
Yeah, it's a big production. I think it makes people very uncomfortable. And, for such an intimate occasion, unless, they're making it worth your while.
So, one of the good things about the franchise Housewives from Coast to Coast is that a lot of these ladies still generate headlines. Unfortunately, a lot of them is for major legal drama. Like just this week, Erika Jayne sued and being accused of being this criminal mastermind, or Jen Shah over in Utah. And even Teresa herself spent time in jail.
Right.
And given your answer to my last question, I'm going to guess I may know what you're going to say, but if a housewife is convicted of a crime, then do you think she should be fired from the show or not? Depending on the crime. If it's here we go. If a housewife is convicted of a crime and has to do time in jail, should she be fired? Because some could view that as glamorizing what happened. Or in the case of Erika Jayne, there are a lot of victims there, a lot of alleged victims. There are a lot of people that suffered because of her alleged actions and her ex's alleged actions.
Right. Well, like you said, I think it's it depends on the case, and it depends on the allegedness. As you said, alleged a lot. So, not guilty until convicted or, pronounced guilty. So, I think it's a very difficult call on the part of the network. I think that, if we were anybody else, if I worked for the Today Show, I'd be fired. Anybody be fired, right? But, reality is a whole different animal. And, look at me. I got into trouble with the law. I had my issues with drinking. I own that. I learned from it. I grow from it. I am who I am. But
nobody was hurt. Nobody was hurt.
No, I didn't kill anybody. Thank God. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't, take from anybody. I just took myself down, which is, usually what happens in my world of dealing with addiction. But, and they of course embrace that because, I am part of the family. And, they came to get me, basically. And, when I did a stint in rehab, and so listen, I felt very supported by Bravo at the time. And I think that, it really depends on the case and the individual and what's really going down. I mean, certainly I think that people who have committed, crimes where you're stealing from people and you're hurting people, and I think that's something to really take into consideration as you decide who's going to be on the next season of The Real Housewives.
You mentioned, your prior incident, and I'm curious, does Bravo, what kind of support does Bravo offer, like on a regular season to the housewives? Like, do they offer any counseling, therapy, or like if somebody needs to go to rehab, will they pay for rehab? Like,
well, listen,
what
I think it just, again, it depends on the case. I mean, like I said, without getting into details, they were very supportive of me and my sobriety. I love it because people only remember the times where I've fallen. They don't remember the times where I filmed entire seasons without drinking, where I did the ultimate girls trip without drinking, so the Fose was there all day, the Fose that I made. And so they made sure it was on the trip. They made sure it was chilled, so the network has been very supportive of my sobriety and have been very helpful. So I hats off to them for that.
I forget how long ago, Orange County was the first one, like 13 years ago, something like that. And there've been many other cities that have come up since then, but DC only lasted one season. Do you have any theory as to why it came and went so quickly?
I think there's some things where, I don't know, the line kind of gets drawn in the sand. It's like, do we mess with the White House? Do we mess with the President of the United States?
You really think that those crashers screwed up the entire franchise for DC?
I think it weighed in heavily. And I think that probably had to do with the cast, probably had to do with ratings. I mean, there's so many things that go into the decision of whether a show, makes it or not. And, I think taking all things into consideration, that's probably why it didn't make it. And, sometimes it's better to get out quickly than keep on beating a dead horse.
So, but for those watching and listening, Bravo announced recently that they are completely shaking up the New York franchise and recasting it entirely with an emphasis on having a very diverse group of housewives. Do you think a completely new cast is going to work?
Well, I hope they cast it very well because, I think people love to see the OGs because, we're real. We have real relationships. We have real homes. We have real, stuff and kids and lives. And that's why they're continuing with the Legacy OG show. But I think it's very hard to put new people into a cast like ours because we are old friends. We have known each other for years. And I think that's why the Ultimate Girls Trip worked because, we're all OGs from all the different franchises. So I think that's probably was in their thinking that, listen, this worked so well for us that we got to keep the OGs around, but let's try a new cast and see what happens. I mean, that's my thinking.
The OGs, for those of you that are not familiar, is like a different thing that they're doing where they're bringing back from
the old guard,
years, from the years, some of the legacy New York housewives, which is a first, that this situation has not been done before on Bravo. I would imagine you can't tell us if you're going to be on that OG's show.
Well, I don't know because they're
have they
still
started
waiting.
filming?
Started filming
the OG's one yet?
No, but listen, if it were up to me, I'd do the OGs first and figure out the other cast, right? Because we kind of know who the OGs are, right? There's not a big mystery there in terms of who the cast might be. And so, but, listen, Bravo is, Bravo's Bravo. They do their thing. And I'm just kind of, getting ready for my cabaret shows. I'm keeping busy. So, and, if they knock at the door, we'll see what happens, So
is there, if let's assume you're doing it, who is the least person you want alongside you? Like who is that one chick that you're like, oh, I hope she doesn't do it?
Listen, there's been a couple of chicks that I could say, but I'm gonna plead the fifth only because that's how I've stayed around for 14 years in reality television. I'm going to pull an Andy and plead the fifth on that. There are a couple girls that I wouldn't like to see back, but I know who I would like to see back. Do you want to hear that?
Sure. I'll tell you who I don't want to see back, but I don't know if I want to. Well, but
you tell me, and let me see if we agree.
But I also, wish them success in life, and I'm not trying to take away a paycheck. This is just my opinion.
Right.
I have zero desire to see anything from Jill Zarin personally.
How funny. That, well, she, as she's doing the ultimate girls trip, the second, one. And
I did not know that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I think that's been out there. That's kind of known.
All right.
I'm not giving up anything that's not kind of known about that cast. But so, I personally, I love Jill. So I disagree with you on that because I've known her for a long time. And actually, Jill Zarin got me on the show. So she got Dorinda on the show. She got Ramona on the show. And she got Bethany on the show.
How was Jill the connector?
Jill is the connector. She's very much the connector. And, she was, in the Hamptons, and I met her randomly. I was, living in Europe at the time. I only had a summer home in the Hamptons, and I met her at a party randomly. And she said, I'm doing this TV show. I think you'd be perfect. And that's how the Housewives came to me. And she brought Ramona in the same way. Dorinda the same way. Dorinda much later, of course, but and also Bethany. We'll never forget, first seeing Bethany penniless on the Housewives.
Wow. Yeah. So those, I would imagine then that crew you really would love to do the OGs show.
Listen, I have my favorite crew in mind. I'd like to see Kelly Ben Simone back.
Oh my God. I was going to ask you about her because, that's one of the things that I say all the time, the power of television. When you're on television regularly, it does so much for you. But then when you're off television for a long period of time, that's like, and Kelly's been off for like a decade or something like that.
Well,
right?
darling, you'd never know because she looks as good as ever. And she, she went back to school.
And she's working as a realtor, I believe.
She's killing it in real estate. I mean, and she's just eye candy. So we love her, and she's a sweet, gentle, lovely person. And so I like Kelly a lot. I just agree with you. I think Jill would be great. And, and of course we got to have Dorinda back, Dorinda Medley's got to come back. So, boom, done.
Do you think it seems to me that Bethany does not need any money. She's doing very well for herself financially. Is there television
has not been kind for her.
Yeah. Is there any scenario, do you think, where Bethany would actually do the OGs show?
I don't think so.
So, you're now a reality TV all-star. You've been doing this for a long time. And I was recently a talking head in this special about the Kardashians, who are also reality TV all-stars. And with choosing to do this professionally comes the expectation that you'll open up about all sorts of things, and it's not all glamour for people. It could be really taxing and draining.
Yeah.
Do you wish you could go back in time and not have done this?
I'm not somebody who, is living in regrets. My life is really about pushing forward and day by day. I mean, listen, there's so many things that if I had done it differently, my life would be completely different. You know, moving from Europe back to America, you know, to begin with. I mean, you know, I was living in Europe for 12 years, first in Milan and then in Switzerland and around France. So, you know, when I came back and I was given the opportunity, it was like, you know, because I used to work for Italian television. I was a showgirl in Italian television. That's how I started my TV career. And, you know, when I came back and they gave me this opportunity in reality, I thought, you know, never done anything like that before. That was interesting to me. And, you know, I remember in the first couple seasons, it was a smashing success and we were having the best time. I think the format and reality TV and in these, you know, with the franchises growing and every city has housewives now, it's changed a lot, you know, and that's why I think people really loved The Ultimate Girls Trip because it felt like old school housewives used to feel. You know, there's drama, but it's not deeper than, you know, I have body issues. You didn't invite me to the party. I don't like the room you picked. You give me that, you know. So it's like, you know, that kind of, you know, now it's getting very kind of scandalous in a lot of ways. And so I think it's changed a lot. And so I don't disagree that, you know, they should change it up a bit. And like they're doing with New York and trying different, you know, because, you know, we grow, we change. And if we don't grow and change, you know, it's not interesting anymore. Right? Who wants to see the same old storyline over and over? So I think it's cool what they're doing. I really was at first surprised like everybody else, but I think it's a cool thing. It's a cool twist. Let's see what sticks. And the other thing is that, like I said, you know, that Ultimate Girls Trip, I think was really a big deciding factor in how to move forward with New York specifically. And look, now they're doing housewives mashups with different housewives and different franchises. So that's a cool twist that the fans have been wanting and asking for a long time. So, you know, I think, you know, NBC kind of knows what they're doing.
Yeah. And, you know, also since the beginning of your time on Housewives, you know, social media is so much different than it was back then. And that probably complicates the experience of being a professional reality TV star, because I think some people cannot separate, you know, reality TV is better to be described as unscripted, but it's not really like super real. I mean, it is, but
you know, I'll give you a great explanation for that first, and it's two parts. First, you know, when I first started the show, my bedroom was off limits. You know, I was married. You know, this is my personal space. Nobody passes this door. You know, now they're in their bedroom, they're in your toilet, for God's sake. So, you know, so that has changed. And, you know, and I always say, you don't have to give up your whole life, you know, for the show. You know, you have to hold dearly the things that you regard as private. And I think that's so important. So, you know, the show obviously is not scripted, but it's produced and edited, you know, like, for example, I'll give you another great example. The first season, I said, I'll give you the turn. I don't feel guilty for being privileged. What I did say was, I don't feel guilty for being privileged. I am lucky. Boom, they whacked the lucky part. So there you go.
I've not had the pleasure yet to see you do your show. But I have to. You have a cabaret show that you've done in New York a bunch, and I think you've done it in Florida.
No, I've done the Will Turn, darling.
Oh, you have? Oh.
I've sold out the Will Turn, but
Damn.
You missed that show.
I don't think I got it. I didn't know. I didn't get an invite.
Oh my gosh! Well, you have to come. You have to come to this.
Are you going on tour?
I'm going on tour. Oh my gosh. If you go to CountessLuann.com, you'll see all my dates. I'm playing the iconic El Rey Theater.
Ooh.
So I'm so thrilled to be in LA, June 23rd to the 26th.
Oh, that's not Gay Pride, but it's around there.
It's just after Gay Pride. I'm actually in Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Seattle.
So you're all over. For those that are curious, like, what could we expect if we go see your show?
Well, listen, it is all about, really, it's like you are invited to my home for dinner. You know, you're in my living room. I'm your hostess. Sit down and enjoy the ride. So, I sing for you. I tell jokes to you. I tell stories to you. We see videos, the Ultimate Girls Trip. I sat in the studio for 3 days and I wrote F-bombs on the G with the OGs because I was so inspired by this trip in the first 5 minutes where Kenny and Ramona got into it. And so that's how I get my inspiration for my music. I mean, I've written 6 songs now, which is, Money and Chic and Feeling Giovanni and Viva La Diva and my Christmas song, What Do I Want for Christmas, which I loved. I did that song on tour. So you're going to be seeing, F-bombs on the G. I talk about, my life. I talk about, not only the good, but the real bad.
You talk about the hard stuff too.
Yeah, sure. I talk about, listen, the music. So my director is Richard J. Alexander. He's
I know Richard J. I love Richard J. He's iconic.
He's iconic. He's the diva whisperer. And I'm so lucky to work with such an icon in the business. Billy Stritch has been my musical director. I'm taking Brian Nash with me, who's my musical director this time around on the road with me because Billy's been crazy busy. And so, it's a all new show, which nobody has seen since my last appearance because of COVID. I haven't been out to LA to perform. So I'm thrilled to be back. It's a fun time. It's a hoot, a lot of all the music I picked myself. Richard J and I work together, obviously. But in fact, I'm going to see him today because we have rehearsals today. So, but I work really hard at it. This is not just a show. This is a Live Nation tour, which I've been doing since 2018. And this will be show, 120 for me. So I've been traveling with it and excited to go to Canada for the first time. Excited to be back in LA, and I got a lot of dates. So check them out, because if you can't make LA, maybe you can make another date in San Fran or
yeah. Is being on the road something that you enjoy? Is it hard?
I love my team that I travel with. I have my band members that I love, and I travel with my assistant and and my team. So it's actually really fun. I mean, I love to travel. I mean, I'm a globetrotter. So, for me to take off, on a trip I got my backpacks and I'm ready to go. And, by the time I get out to the West Coast, I'll have done many shows before that. So it'll be like a walk in the park and I'm going to really enjoy it. And, it's really about fun and about having a good time and reminiscing. Cause, we talk a lot about, all the good stuff that the fans have grown to love. And it's great because my fans show up for me. They come dressed in sequins, they come dressed in their Giovannis, they got their statement necklaces on. I mean, they turn it out for me. And that is so humbling, for people to show up, wanting to dress to impress.
And I think people are, we want to have a good time now.
Exactly.
It's been 2 years plus of just
exactly, and have a good excuse to whip out that, that sequin jacket or that sequin dress and put on your fancy shoes and let's dance.
The townhouse in New York City where there was that incident recently.
Yeah.
Have you sent them flowers or anything?
Well, listen, I apologize. They,
Yes.
Obviously I fell off the wagon and it happens. That's part of, that's part of progress and not perfection.
I could so relate because I'm a food addict. I'm like a hardcore food addict and it's it's hard.
Right. Well, so, I've, since then, I've moved on and, my ultimate goal is to not drink, but you can only take it day by day, as you know, and it's not perfect, but, I'm.
So that is, you're not trying, like the Demi Lovato California sober thing?
No, I just feel like, no, I'm not, I get forgetful if I smoke weed and stuff and I've got a cabaret show to do. So no, it's not my thing. So no, but I'm a working Lou is a happy Lou. So when I'm working, even when I do my cabaret shows, I was never a drinker before my shows. I'm the kind of girl that likes to go off the deep end later in the evening. You know what I mean? So, but, so I've reeled it in and I'm feeling really great. And like I said, we only see the press when I fall down, not when I pick myself up and become, you know, a successful cabaret touring artist, or when I've done a whole season of Housewives. And I'm talking months at a time without drinking around all these women who are drinking all day.
that could be very triggering or just tempting.
Exactly. So, I work on myself, and believe me, it takes work in order to get to that place where you can be okay and you can still have a good time. And that's why I made Fosé, my non-alcoholic sparkling, because I wanted to have an option, and I have it now. So, and I couldn't be more thrilled. I just got a distribution deal with BevMax, which is a huge company. So it'll be distributed soon, and people can get it on drinkfose.com, and people are loving it. It's low-cal, it's delicious. And I made that during the pandemic when I was not drinking. So, I've been in and out of sobriety for years, and I'm in it to win it. So here we go. That. One day at a time.
It's great to diversify too and build those brands. So congratulations. And on your website, people could get all of the tour dates.
Yes. Yeah. At CountessLuann.com. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So hopefully I will see you at the LA show.
I better see you. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you since, oh my God, years ago in New York when you were doing your show.
I know, a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
I got to get back on stage myself. I love it.
Yes. It's fun.
All right. And that is that, everybody. Thank you so much for another week. We appreciate you. Share our show, please. PerezPodcast.com. Call us 800-721-1185 and give us a review if you have extra time on Apple Podcasts. And let us know what other guests you would like if you do enjoy the guests, because I need to book more people. All right, that's it. Have a great week, everybody.
Take care. 800-721-1185. That's the phone number. We'll see you next week.